Welcome to the Reclaiming My Time podcast. My name is Christy Smith, and I'm going to be your host today. My story began in November 2025. I received a phone call from my manager, and unfortunately, she laid me off from my job. She told me, Christy, your position has been eliminated. We no longer need your service. You can leave today. I was shook. Did not expect that. I was the first pharmacist to be hired for the company in 2020. I was the first vice president to join that division. I was the only black president on the lead team in the entire division. Now, when I say I was the only black person, I don't mean black woman, I mean black individual. So, I hope that just gives you a flavor for what I went through at the company in the years that I was there. However, I was the first of many things in my everyday life. I'm the firstborn child. I was the first to have a college degree in my family, the first one to get my master's degree and my doctoral degree. I am the first pharmacist in my family. And so, what I can tell you is that being the pioneer of something is challenging. It's hard. It's hard being the first. But yeah, I still prevailed as I did in this role at my former company. But God, I did not have to rush out and look for another job. So that was my saving grace. And so I decided that I was going to take this time to understand what happened to me and the impact that it had on my life. So, like Cookie told Lucius, I got to put myself first, right? And that's what I did. So, through the help of my tribe, my friend groups, my relationships, I found a good therapist that same month, you guys, and started therapy. Um, she helped me in so many ways navigate the journey that I was on, right? And helped me to grow to understand the value I had in myself, the value that I brought to other people, my family, my church, my sorority, um, my husband, my children. So, after I started on the therapy journey from a mental health perspective, I then continued to get my physical health checked out, right? Because of the tremendous amount of time and energy and travel that I had in my previous role, I did not take a lot of time to do all the things to take care of my physical body. So I started making doctor's appointments, getting myself checked out from the rooter to the tutor, and ended up with many doctor's appointments, including a surgery that I needed to have done that I put off for quite some time. And so, really just focusing on me, not my family, not my kids, focusing on me. So, with all the time that I now had, I want to read something to you that I heard in a song that really resonated with me. You know, this was a time where I slowed down enough so that I could hear the voice of God talking to me. And if you know me, I love me some music. Okay, so let me share this with you guys. This is a few words from a song I heard. The song is called The Soft Era by Selah and Soul. And here's the quote: I am safe now. I am safe now. God taught my soul how to rest. God met me in silence where my striving had to cease and whispered to my spirit, daughter, you deserve my peace. Let God regulate what trauma left in fear, rest in body, joy in chest. God gave me permission to finally rest. End of quote. So, I am living my soft life. So, the podcast name, Reclaiming My Time. Y'all like my sign? Reclaiming My Time. Reclaiming My Time podcast. Why did I name it that? Well, I was listening to some congressional testimony. And I think this was the time back when ICE was doing the fool in Minneapolis. And Congress was calling everybody to the stand, right? And I heard two famous Congress women say. One is Congresswoman Maxine Waters, Auntie Maxine, as we like to call her, and Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Also my soror, and if you know, you know, say, reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time. And that started to really resonate with me because they would ask the witness a question, and in response to the question, they did not get a yes and no answer, which is the kind of question they had asked, right? So they would stop the witness and say, Chair, Madam Chair, Mr. Chair, I want to reclaim my time. And that's exactly what happened. The witness was shut down, and she got her time back. And that's what I'm doing. That is what I am doing. When I heard that, it was just like, you know how when God starts speaking to you on something and he's talking just to you? It was like I heard his voice. That's the name of your podcast, Reclaiming Your Time. So I am taking back control of my time, prioritizing what matters to me. And so that is why I named the podcast Reclaiming My Time Podcast. It is definitely a privilege to be able to shut people down and then just start your time over, okay? And so I don't take that for granted, that I know I am blessed and highly favored to be able to take the time to and create an entire platform. And believe me, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to put on a podcast. And so I know favor ain't fair, but it sure feel good. I ain't gonna lie. And so one of the things that I'm doing with this podcast is, you know, my godson came to help me. They volunteered to come and help me. You know, we're not experts in terms of what it is like to put on a podcast, but we are willing, able, and capable to do it. And we are going to make this happen, not just for us, but for you. This podcast will use the gift of time to talk about important issues like health. I am a pharmacist with over 30 years of healthcare experience in the industry. I've practiced in many different healthcare settings, and I can tell you firsthand, when you lose your health, it can even impact your ability to walk, to move, to get around. And so one of the things that we're going to talk about is, how do you navigate when you have multiple sclerosis, or if you have menopause? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about some of these important issues. We're going to talk about things like work. So when you have your health, you can do work, right? And so one of the things you want to that I really think about when I think about your work life, my work life, is leadership and business. And so you don't have to be managing people to be a good leader. You can be a good leader right in the position you are today. And then what if you're someone like me who lost their job out in the workforce? How do you get back to work in some field that will benefit you and your family, right? And so we want to talk about those things. Now, we're going to have different types of experts on the show. We're not going to be Kiki Palmer, like I love Kiki Palmer. But we will have subject matter experts, leaders, all kind of people like myself and like yourself on the show to help us navigate some of these interesting topics. Next topic we're going to talk about on the show is hot topics. When I'm out with my girls, we're having a good time. We might be out for a good meal, drinks, or conversation. We talk about so many different things. One of the topics that came up recently in one of my groups is, when do you dismantle your children's bedrooms after they graduate high school and move out and go to college? I polled a group of my good friends, all women of a certain age, no pun intended, because I am one of those women. And they gave all different answers. One said as soon as they turned 18 and left the house, she repurposed their room. You know who you are. One other friend said after the kid married. Another friend said, well, when we downsized and moved to a smaller home, they lost their bedrooms. How do the kids feel about it? Like, where are they going to sleep when they do come home for break on in college, or if they just come home for the holidays? I can tell you firsthand that I still have my kids' bedrooms. My oldest child has been gone away from home for almost 8 years this year. And she tells me, Mom, I don't live there anymore. But I still have her mom from high school hanging in her room. So, what is the answer to that question? Now, that's just one hot topic. What hot topics do you want to talk about? Put it in the comments. DM me, okay, on IG. Let me know what you want to talk about. We can talk about it. Do you want to be a guest on the show? Let me know. The last topic that we're going to talk about, or category that we're going to talk about on the show, is love and relationships. Now, I have been married for almost 36 years this year to the same man. And I still like him a lot. And he still likes me a lot. And I will cut you about that man. Don't mess with my man. But not everyone is in my position, right? I was talking to a young man today about what it's like to be single out there in these streets. What does that look like? How do they navigate that? And so let's talk about it. Let's talk about issues that really impact your life and my life and our lives as a community. Let's discuss it and maybe come up with some solutions. Maybe hook up some people. I don't know. Not promising that, but let's just have the conversation. And the most important part about these conversations is, let's be real. Let's be real, and let's really take advantage of the time that we have. So, that is what Reclaiming My Time podcast is going to be all about. I am so happy to spend this time with you today. And I want to encourage you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button on YouTube for the Reclaiming My Time podcast. We're also going to be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, so you can find us there. We will be dropping a new episode every Thursday. So go ahead and subscribe so you will not miss one episode. I'm so excited about this podcast, and I look forward to seeing you on the next show. Mwah. Peace.